Today's interview was brought to you by mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts, which help support film and direct projects like this. You could also become a YouTube member with the join button down below. Let's jump into the interview.
Yeah, I always trained hard, but I was a scaver as well. Someone who liked to mess about and sometimes hide behind bags and maybe not put as much effort in as I should. And I just made this conscious decision that I'm actually going to try hard here and give it a lot of effort, and that's what I've done. And the year the fantasy beat me, like I was drinking and stuff, not a big drinker, but I was going out with my mates at the weekend. I'd have been doing that up to like maybe 2 weeks before a fight, so I knocked that in the head and maybe didn't do that, didn't drink for maybe 3 months at a time and got ready in preparation for fights. So these were just small things that I'd done, but it seemed to work. And it seemed like everybody needs a wee bit of luck in their career, but I think you have to have that attitude and that commitment and that determination and the luck as well that comes with it. And I seem to have got pretty lucky, and things just kind of fell into place after that. I think that everybody at the top will talk, look, it takes commitment, it takes hard work and drive and determination and sacrifices and everything else, but I think there has to be an element of luck in your career, and things have to fall into place at the right time. And I suppose the more you train and the harder you work, the luckier you get sometimes, but things all have to fall into place at the right time. And they have for me, and I've done a lot in my career. I've been very proud of the things that I've done in my career, but I still believe there's more to give, and that's why I'm in it. I contemplated retiring after the Josh Warrington defeat. At that point, I'd done more than most people could ever dream of as a boxer, a 2-weight world champion, unified, Ring Magazine Fight of the Year. But I didn't want to go out on a loss like that, and I knew there was more to come. I knew I could still become a world champion, and that's the reason why I'm still hanging around this game. I want to be known as a great, and look, I'm already. If you'd have granted me a wish at the start of my professional career and said you're going to win a world title, but you're going to lose it in your first defence, I think I'd have taken that at the very start of my professional career. So I've went on to do more than I ever could have imagined at the very start, but I still know there's more. 2-weight world champion. I know I can become a 3-weight world champion. My next fight is against Jamel Herring for the chance to become a 3-weight world champion. One of the only British fighters to ever have done it. The only Irish fighter to have ever done it. I think that if you look at the Brits that have done it before, I think I probably rank as number 2 in terms of who has become 3-weight world champions. It's a chance for me to become a great. It's a chance for me to potentially put myself into the Hall of Fame, and that's why I'm doing it. You know, I know my kids are proud of me, and they will be proud of me when they grow up, but I imagine what it would be like. You know, I'm very proud of my dad. Me and my dad are best mates, and I love him dearly, but imagine my dad had been a 3-weight world champion. How proud I would have been in that. So a lot of the reason is for my kids. I want them to talk about me. I want the people of Belfast and the people of Northern Ireland to remember me fondly. And this is part of the reasons why I do it. I want people to. I don't want to be, you know, a flash in the pan type where people stop or forget about me after a couple of years. I want to go to pubs in 30 years' time in Belfast and someone buy me a pint and say, I was at that fight, I remember that fight in New York you had with Leo Santa Cruz, or I was there when you beat Jamel Herring to become a 3-weight world champion. I want people to remember me like that. Not just to buy me a pint, but just to remember me in them sort of terms, and that's what I'm aiming for, that's what I'm striving for, and I'm very, very, very proud of the support I get. Never imagined that I would have had the support that I have at this point, but I just want to keep pushing. I want to do it for them, I want to do it for myself, I want to do it for my family. There's so many motivational factors for me, and that's why I'm doing it. There's no pressure when you're an underdog. People, you know, all the pressure's on the favourite because he's expected to win. I don't mind being an underdog, if I'm being honest. I think the most pressurised situations you are in as a fighter is when people expect you to win. The most pressurised situation for me was when I fought for my first world title against Kiko Martinez in Belfast in a purpose-built arena. I could see from the ring, it was outdoors, 16,000 people. I could see Tigers Bay in the distance from the ring. It was the perfect venue. I'd already beaten Kiko for a European title. I'd stopped him in the 9th round. And people look at that and think, well, he's knocked him out in the 9th round. He's definitely going to beat him this time. But Kiko had went on and won a world title after I'd beat him. He had momentum on his side. The fight that I stopped him, it was a brutal fight up until I did stop him. So I knew all these things, but people just expected me to win. The pressure on me and the pressure on my shoulders in that fight was absolutely huge. But I had to be switched on, and I think that was probably one of my best performances, and a forgotten performance really. How controlled it was under them circumstances, and under that, the amount of pressure that was piled on my shoulders was ridiculous. People deal with it differently. People say, you hear this old saying, you know, pressure is just for tires, or pump tires up. But pressure can be used as a tool and a motivational factor, and I use it as a motivational factor. And some people will drown under that pressure, the weight of the pressure and the weight of expectations. But I feel like I like to rise to the occasion. And some of them pressurized situations that I've been in, I think have been some of my better performances. So I don't know how I cope with it. I really don't know. I'm always focused on the opponent. I'm focused on the fight. I was out running last night, and I decided last night I wasn't going to listen to music, because when I don't listen to music, I can think about the opponent that I've got to fight next, Jamel Herring. So I'm going through in my head shots that I think are going to work. I'm playing out how I think I'm going to get rid of this guy. I'm playing out different scenarios in the fight. I don't know if everybody does stuff like that, but that's something that I do, and it helps me cope with everything that comes with being under pressure in these situations. There's a guy, when I was an Irish amateur boxer, a guy called Jerry Hussey, sports psychologist, used to talk to us, and he was big into visualization and talking about that, and I always enjoyed his chats, and I always enjoyed the sports psychology side of things. But when we spoke to Jerry Hussey, I was with an Irish squad. There was maybe 10 other lads around. Some of them didn't really take it that serious. It was always messing about. I was always trying to listen and take it in, but it wasn't that serious because there were so many people around. But it was always something that I remembered from my high performance days as an amateur. Visualization is a key. You hear top sportsmen talking about it all the time, but it's something that I do. I done it last night on the run, and I'm sure I'll do it plenty of other times before this fight happens. People have doubts. You know, everyone has doubts, and doubts creep in at certain times, but it's about what you do with that doubt, and you try to deal with it rationally. You try to think about it, and when I visualize things, when the doubts start creeping in, I try to get back to thinking of the positive things. And how can you visualize? How can you do something if you can't actually visualize doing it in your head? How can you throw a certain combination if you can't actually visualize that happening in a fight scenario? And these are just things that I've done and picked up over the years, and I continue to do it, and I will continue to do it for as long as I'm a boxer.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider going to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the new Inspire Change t-shirts, the LFG t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts. Everybody who's been supporting us has made this project possible, and projects like this in the future possible. We cannot fly all around the world with our film crew and ourselves and do these interviews and documentaries without your support. So thank you very much. The support has been amazing, and we appreciate it.